Intern and J. Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens.
Here we are.
The stream, episode 243 this week. This was the documentary series that we've really grown to love on Netflix, Trainwreck.
Trainwreck, another one.
Specific was a two-parter about the Storm Area 51.
Let's go save the aliens. Aliens, we're coming for you.
I definitely remember this one because Jay and I really considered going.
Yeah, I did a fake radio stunt. Remember that I was there.
That was as far as we got with it. Yeah. we really.
I put UFO sounds in there and some EDM and some crowd.
We're both tinfoil hat wearing dudes, but at the end of the day, I think we both were like, I don't know if I want to get shot.
Well, because the whole thing was they can't kill us all, and I was thinking, well, they probably can.
They probably can. They probably you might get a couple through, but
I don't know if you can get anybody through.
They'll get the stragglers. I mean, but again, we're talking about a place and again a situation where it was just completely born out of nothing. Like this wasn't like a bunch of people that got together.
No, had meetings and
it was legitimately this kid who ran a meme page on Facebook that would just post stupid things, and then one night
he struck gold on this
one. He decided to just wouldn't it be funny if we all did this, and it took off.
It took
off big time, to the point where even guys like us in Springfield saw this event. I remember seeing his page.
Yeah, worldwide.
And I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Worldwide.
Doing this,
I think I clicked going.
I think I did too.
I was one of the 3 million people that said they were going to Area 51 at 3 in the morning.
So it started out as a joke, but then as people started to get interested in it, then they looked at it from a perspective that, we can actually get something out of this.
Yeah.
And that's when the planning started. When we continue next, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Dark Side of the Stream, Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It is episode 243, discussing Trainwreck, Storm, Area 51. So if you're not familiar with the location, Area 51 is literally in the desert.
It didn't exist for a long time.
Well,
allegedly. They said the government said it wasn't there for a long time.
The government says a lot of things and does a lot of different things.
And then now they say, well, yeah, it is there.
I mean, if we really got to see everything the government has done,
we'd be scared.
Not only to us as their population, but let other people do.
Oh, no.
I think we'd be all pretty upset. But that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother time. In this case, Area 51 was a military post that had long been rumored to host alien vessels and
crashed UFOs, back engineered stuff,
possibly bodies. Yeah. Bob Lazar, of course, the famous guy who supposedly worked there, came out in the 80s, said they were doing all these things, which now, here we are 20, 30 years later, a lot of the things that he said were true. It sure seems like he was telling the truth. But I always felt like when it came to Area 51 and this whole thing, I thought the best, I don't know where I read it, when I did, but whenever I read it, I was like, that makes the most sense to me. The government, I believe, has artificial or alien technology. At some point, we've recovered
found
something.
We got some. Yeah.
There's just too much evidence to point in the direction that it is definitely something we have. How much? I don't know. Who knows? But at the end of the day, if that's true, I like the idea that they take it with the stance like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, the end of the movie where he turns over the Ark to the government. They literally put it away for a while, and then they put it away.
Every few years, open it up, try to play with it.
So every 5 to 10 years,
no, we can't figure it out yet. Put it away.
You go get these guys like Bob Lazar that are not really like, because the idea everyone says, well, if the aliens are here, wouldn't all the scientists be like throwing their hands at? Well, scientists only do what their field is, and they only test what they test. It's not like all the scientists across the world are like testing whether UFOs exist or not.
It's all compartmentalized.
So if you do that and you get these kind of fringe thinking scientists every 5 to 10 years, you take it to a new place, you let them touch it, you let them mess with it and see what happens, and then you go your separate ways. And then you either go forward or you don't go any further. But I think that is probably the best explanation. And at this point, probably for the last 20 years, years, maybe since the late 80s, there hasn't been any alien technology at Area 51. I guarantee when Lazar was there, if there was, after he was gone, they carted that thing up and it's somewhere else.
Yeah, probably.
And it's probably in a bunker 2 miles underneath the
so nobody can find it.
ground. Yeah. It would make more sense. Back to this story. So now you got a bunch of kids saying, let's storm it. Let's go find out.
Let's go free the aliens, man.
But within that, you have to look at it from the law enforcement side, where in that town you had a sheriff who had 5 officers, maybe 10 officers. How are you going to stop 100,000 people? So then he gets the government involved. They get the people on the post involved, and they're like, they better not try this. But they're also taking it seriously. Very seriously.
Very seriously.
Because as the commander said, when it comes to this stuff, people are stupid, but foreign agents are also watching it too.
Oh, yeah.
And it wouldn't take much for some foreign kid to mix in, put some alien stuff on, and with the party.
Put some explosives.
But he's actually an agent for China or Russia or something, trying to get information. That's what they do. That's how this thing works.
And so they would figure they'd be severely undermanned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you get this promoter involved, Disco Donnie, who's now saying, let's actually turn this into an event. Let's have it make it an EDM thing. And so they start searching around, and they find the only place within any distance of Area 51, and it's like this
Alien Inn
hotel that's run by this woman. It's a gas station hotel, and there's 10 rooms, and that's it. But they got a lot of land. She said that within a day, they had every
all
spot
the rooms were sold,
out,
all the camp. She's like, "What is going on here?"
And she was not happy about this situation until Disco Donnie and this kid who started this page team up, and they go out there to try and sell her on it. And that's what we'll come back and talk about next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 243, discussing Trainwreck Storm Area 51. So the boys go out to New Mexico. They meet this woman who there were a lot of characters in this thing that I was like, what the dude? And we'll get to that later on. But I did like her. The chick that ran it, she seems salt of the earth. She does her thing. She gets thrown into this crazy set of circumstances. You know what I mean? She was smart. She was
like, all right, let's.
Well, because at first they show up and she's like, I need to talk to you.
I want to kill this kid.
She was going to kill. But then Disco Donnie's like, whoa. We can actually make some money here if we do this right. And so they start trying to figure out how to basically put on a festival in 6 weeks. He makes a really good point that typically festivals like this take 6 months to a year.
Yes, you got to plan stuff out.
Festivals like Rocklahoma, literally, they might take the day off after it's over.
They start planning already.
But next week, they're already starting to plan everything that they need, and because it takes a lot
of variables in these things.
People don't understand, you want to put on a music festival? It's great. Let's get some bands. It's like you got to have bands.
Yeah.
You have a stage, sound. Who's going to run that sound front and back of the house?
You have to have enough equipment.
Security.
You have to have porta potties.
Insurance.
Yeah. You have
water,
to have security,
food.
EMTs.
You're basically building a city in a certain spot for could be a day, could be 3 days. But bottom line is, doing it in 6 weeks is crazy, and it was evident that they should have had some more time.
Yeah, and that's not the spot to do it.
And definitely doing it in the middle of the desert.
Logistically,
you look at Coachella, and it's a festival that's not really in the desert. They're on a polo course in the desert, but they've got access to water and electricity and stuff. And this would have been a situation where it would have been
a nightmare.
It would have been a nightmare. Yeah. But people still showed up, right?
They did.
And luckily, nobody got killed.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
I mean, I think
usually with these kind of things, something bad happens.
How stupid this thing was, and you look at what we just did when we were talking about Project X.
Yeah, right.
Like that one was very close to, because at first they thought there were 3 or 4 people that died in that thing, but then they would go to find out later that it was all good.
This one was, we ended up, nobody got too crazy.
It reminded me of Independence Day. You remember, whenever Vivica A. Fox, which... such a hottie.
Cut this part out so Mike's wife doesn't hear this.
I always remember. No, man.
Tyler,
I always remember.
Timestamp this spot right here because he's talking about another woman.
Pop-up videos, or I Love the 80s, or some one of those shows, or I Love the 90s on VH1.
Yeah, Vivica.
They had Sir Mix-a-Lot talk about Vivica A. Fox in Independence Day, and there's a scene where she's in the strip club and she's walking back to the back room, and you get to see that side view, and he goes, they show a full donkey. I've used that phrase
full donkey.
She had the full donkey. Oh, man. Anyway, she's talking to that chick. I don't remember her name. She was in a Saved by the Bell college years episode. But she's like, no, I'm going to go up to the top of the building and welcome them here. Like, if we'll be, that's not where I'm going, man. Like, I'm going to stay away until I can kind of see what's going on.
If they're cool or not?
Yeah. And I'm definitely not going to jump on the ship to go meet the homeworld because I saw that Twilight Zone episode and I know what that says to serve man and I know what to serve man means.
That's right.
I'm not going to do that. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately, when you're dealing with this kind of thing, and you're dealing with all those people that they interviewed that showed up.
They were going to Naruto run, baby.
I mean, you know what I mean? So you are dealing with a situation where no one could control. And at the end of the day, with the kid who was literally told by the federal agents, if anyone dies in this situation, if anything happens, you started it, we can prove that, and it's all coming down on you.
Stress.
Very stressful. But luckily for him, well, I guess. We'll talk about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 243, and we are discussing
Storm Area
51. So, inevitably, the kid who started out in his mom's basement and had this thing where millions and millions of people were talking about him ended up going back.
Yeah.
And that was
he ended up being the king for a day.
Yeah.
And then he ended
15
up
minutes.
50 minutes fame, sold some T-shirts at the EDM festival, and life goes on for him back at the kiosk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Area 51 is still a mystery.
Bait store kiosk.
The aliens are still trapped in there. If you want to assemble a new storm, that's on you guys.
Yeah, good luck for you.
Storm 2026.
Fine. I waited to the end to give you this. I thought this one was just awful.
He didn't like it. I
felt like it could have been 50 minutes. There was no need for them to do 2 episodes.
Yeah, this was the first one that they stretched out into 2, and they probably shouldn't have.
There was no need for that.
But it was an awesome story, man.
It was just as a lot of this UFO stuff comes back out, a big, giant nothing burger.
Yeah, you get so much, and then you don't get what you want.
The hype was like so much bigger than what it ended up being, where I was just like, are we really
But props to the guys that actually did show up out there, the few group that did show up, and props to the guards at the place. They were cool. They were like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, like, you're talking about guys behind a giant razor wire fence with automatic
military
guns, military training to literally kill you on sight if you cross that line. It's not like no one wants to kill anyone, and at the same time,
they were all cool in the end.
But
I do give props to the guys that actually went there at 3 a.m. You know, there was a handful of people that did it.
What else? I
didn't go there at 3 a.m. that day.
There, no way. Even at that time of my age, I wouldn't have gone there. If I was that
age,
guys. Maybe if I lived like a couple hours away, if I was in Vegas.
Some of them had some cool costumes on too, and it was nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It's kind of a nothing.
Proud of the youth for doing it.
You know what would be more better is if they actually started working on making this world a better place instead of storming Area 51.
Well,
I'd be proud of the youth if they did that.
2026, Tyler. storm the world.
It's crazy to me that we keep talking about the youth, and I feel how apathetic they are, but they will be willing to drop everything for stuff like this. Drives me crazy. Either way, next week, Jay is going to learn all that he can about Billy Joel for
that's
the next
cool.
documentary.
Nice. I want to watch
that. It's a 2-parter.
Is it HBO Max?
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Now it's called. Is it called HBO Max?
HBO Max.
I know they've
back to the HBO,
names. Okay.
Which never needed to go away. HBO Max, and so goes Billy Joel's life. I could probably tell you all about it right now without watching it, but Jay's going to learn a lot about.
I'm going to learn about the Piano Man.
Stream us online every Thursday at 9 a.m. 1047thecave.com. I play it during my show at that time. Jay does it during his show at 6 p.m. Then we've got live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, or you can always download it on demand as a podcast on our 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you.
We watch documentaries,
movies, so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
That's good, Tyler.
One of these days, I'm just going to go, I'm Mike the Intern reminding you, don't look left, don't look right. Look up. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7.
Storm Area 51 again. Save the aliens. We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
0.01%.
We're coming for you, aliens. We're coming for you.
Man, isn't it crazy that... Majority Taylor Greene had a net worth of about 700,000, and now she's about 21 million.
These guys, that's why there's that whole app that Nancy Pelosi stock.